So here is a deep as an entrance to a mine, but in the coal mines that I worked in 4 mines in my 34 years on the ground. Our deeps did not look like this. In our mine, here's what it looked like. And what supported the roof, 2,700 feet below the floor of the ocean, is them little timber, a little spruce timber. So you'd have one up here, one across there, every 2 feet, holding the roof up as we go down in the mine. So every 50 feet you'd have a room in there, probably 15 feet wide, would determine how much coal is going to be cut, bore and shoot. And when this box would leave that little room and it gets to the surface with 2,240 pounds, we call that the long ton, not the 2,000 ton. You would receive 68 cents. Not in my time. I was born in 1938. My dad, my grandfathers, and I had 6 uncles worked in number 4 mine, and that mine was 100 years old. In those years, these miners worked 12-hour shifts. You would work 6 days a week. No vacation, no holidays, no sick benefit, no unemployment. If you want an axe, a pick, a shovel, and the boots and the gloves, that was deducted off your little bobtail cheat. In those years, the bobtail cheat was your pay envelope. And my father would often said, when he opened his pay envelope, there's nothing in it, we owe them.
Cape Breton Miners Museum is a museum, a facility that sort of celebrates the coal mining culture of Cape Breton. We do that through mine tours with authentic Cape Breton miners who've worked for 30+ years in the mines. They take groups of visitors down through the mines and explain what life was like back in those times. Economically, it brings in visitors. There's, you know, Glace Bay, after the mines, the employment pretty much dried up here. So this is a reason to come to Glace Bay and a reason to spend some dollars in Glace Bay. So that's also what it means to the community. Well, besides the mine, we have a miners' village, which entails a company house, which we're in right now, and we also have a company store across the way as part of the miners' village.
So when you say a company store, a company house, what does that mean? It
was owned by the company, the coal mining company. So when a miner was hired for the mines, he got a house, a company house, and he would live in the company house, and he would pay the company, the mining company that he worked for, rent on the company house. And he would also buy anything he needed from the company store that was owned by the mining company. So basically, the mining companies owned the coal miners' body and soul.
Were you ever in the mine when there was an explosion?
Yes, I was. 1979. And 12 men. I don't want to get too much about it. 12 men got killed in number 26 Colliery, and I helped them take the bodies out of that mine in 1979. And I went back down the mines again, and in 1984 we had a big fire out there, which we left a man in it. And I was to happen to be on my shift, get out of that mine and get it up here. So I don't want to talk about it too much and out here, bend that, but I was down underground.
It was dangerous, it was dirty, it was, for a lot of its history, very exploitative. Mm-hmm. How do you personally deal with that dichotomy?
Yeah, it's true, but I think it's sort of like guys that go to war together. You know, it builds this sort of camaraderie and this closeness. And you know, my father fought in the Second World War, and he said it was horrible, but he said I was never more alive. And I think that's what these guys, that's the experience they have, and that's what they communicate to us. You know, yeah, it was awful, but you know, I survived it. You know, and I came out of there with great friends that survived it. So yeah, it tells that story.
I spent 34 years in the mine, and it gives me a joy to come down to talk about mining, how I was brought up here. I'm 76 years old, we brought up here in Glace Bay, during the wartime. My father's machine, my dad lost his arm in the mid, and when I seen my dad going to use the hook, he had no job on the surface. He was underground. He spent 40 years with a hook on, a little hook, and no other job underground. So he spent a lot of years with one arm underground. My here, I love it. I really enjoy coming down here, and this is what keeps me coming here. I don't know how long I'll be here. As long as my legs hold out, I'll keep coming till my legs drop off me. And I love talking to people. and this is what I get out of it.
This community, I think there's a real sense of pride in the museum. There is a sense of it, like this museum shows our history, it shows the past, it shows like the strength that we came from. You know, these people were survivors. They did not have an easy life, and it bred survivors. And I think there's a real sense of pride, and they want this story to be told. And we tell this story very well here.